And that time he actually gave us some health. However, I already had just grabbed a full health meter, so I was already up to my full health. And we continue on through the stage. As you can see, more water-themed areas as well to make some jumps over these gaps, being careful of these submarines that are flying in clouds, but when you shoot the submarine cloud or get near it, it ends up dropping down and turning into the actual submarine and enters the water. Watch out for more of the octopus ice cube throwing enemies that we saw for the first time in Blizzard Man stage. You've also seen them in some of the other Mega Man games. Now, when we get up this couple of ledges, we're going to make it to the top of the waterfall here with a choice. You want to go ahead and equip the Rust Jet adapter, and we're going to fly across this gap into the boss room over here to enter the real lair of Centaur Man. Now, as far as Centaur Man's abilities, he kind of mixes a little bit of Flash Man, as well as a unique style to his overall boss battle. Now, in the boss battle, his main thing is going to be teleporting from different sides of the screen, then flashing in order to freeze everything in place, so freezing you in place, but then he also shoots that projectile out, starts as a single blast, but then turns into a huge spread shot on whatever wall that it hits. So you want to stay as far away from the wall that he's shooting against as you can, because when that thing spreads apart, the closer you are, the less chance you're going to be able to dodge it. So you want to stay close to him, if you can, and away from that blast. Thankfully though, a bunch of charged shots do well against him, and his blast doesn't take too much damage off of you. And if you wanted to, you could go ahead and use Nightman's ability that we just got in order to help you out during the battle. Now with Centaur Man defeated, we're going to be getting the Centaur Flash ability, which is the ability to freeze everything in place, and then we're also getting the letter T parts for B. Now we only have 2 Robot Masters left to do battle with. I'm going to choose Windman to start it up, and we have to do battle with him in the Mechanical Tower. Now, Windman's stage is very similar to some of the other wind-style stages or air stages that we've seen, such as Airman and Gyro Man from Mega Man 5, but we do get the introduction of the Panda Robot, which is one of my favorites, so at least we have that going on in this stage. And while Windman's stage doesn't add a ton new to the overall element of Mega Man, it does have some interesting elements of platforming that we're going to have to deal with, including dealing with these fans over some big gaps, as well as the platforms that when you jump on them, they're going to flip over to the opposite side, and you're going to have to quickly jump on that opposite side, then quickly jump off, or you end up falling into the pit. So it definitely makes for a little bit of challenging platforming, especially when you're dealing with the projectiles from the flying enemies, as well as ground enemies that you have to dodge for as well. Here we have the introduction of those moving platforms that when you jump on them, they go ahead and switch from the left to the right. So you gotta be quick and careful when jumping amongst them. When we make it this room, you want to make sure you quickly slide underneath of that enemy on the top there so that you can get through, and then continue on through the stage. Now, Mega Man 6 is not only the last of the NES Mega Man games, it's also one of the last on the NES in total. There wasn't a whole lot of games being released for the 8-bit era during the 1993-1994 years. We saw, like, Kirby's Adventure, Zoda's Revenge, and then later on, Wario's Woods being the final official release for the NES. Mega Man 6 was definitely in that, and Capcom actually didn't even want to release Mega Man 6 in North America. They were already getting ready to release Mega Man X. It actually came out in North America before Mega Man 6 did. As we now enter the lair of Windman. Now, Windman really isn't too much of an original robot, at least for his pattern of attack. He shoots out these two blades that go intertwine with each other, similar to what we've already faced with like Tomahawk Man or Gyro Man from Mega Man 5. And he also tries to suck you in, which is something that we've seen from some of the other air bosses, including Airman himself. And it makes for an overall pretty easy battle, dodging those projectiles, as well as when you get sucked in, deliver a quick full charge shot, and take him out rather easily. We also could have used his weakness against him, which was Centaur Flash. However, by defeating Windman, we not only get a neat silver color for our Mega Man, we also get the Windstorm ability, which shoots out a little tornado. We now have only one Robot Master to go, and it's Yamada Man in the Impregnable Fortress. Now, as far as the Robot Masters go, Yamada Man is another one of the pretty coolly designed Robot Masters. He's based, of course, off a Japanese samurai or Japanese warrior, and he makes for a pretty cool overall Robot Master. You have the Japanese theme for his level, good music, and then you have Japanese-themed robots that you have to go off against throughout the stage. Of course, my personal favorite has to be the little raccoon robots that we've seen already throughout the stage. Now, as far as the gameplay of the stage, it's nothing that we haven't already dealt with this game, as well as the other Mega Man games. The stage ends up being pretty overall short, and we don't have too many pitfalls to really deal with. We'll have some moving gears that we'll have to get through when we get to the secret lair area of the stage. Later on in the level, we're going to have a choice between two ladders to choose from, one at the top and one at the bottom. We're going to have to use the Rush Power Jet adapter in order to get to the top one. So here we go ahead and switch to the Rush Jet adapter, and then go ahead and fly up to the top right ladder here in order to get to the path where the secret lair, the real lair, is located. Now I'm just going to leave the Rush Jet adapter equipped as I just make it through the last room of the stage, as we have these springy guys that are going to try to hit me, but I can just go ahead and fly over most of them as I make it past his moving, rotating gear part of the level. And now we enter the Lair of Yamada Man. Now, Yamada Man's main abilities is he's going to go ahead and spin his spear around, in which case a small projectile fires straight at it, but then he goes to pick it up off the wall, so that you're going to be able to jump over it and deliver some really good full charged up shots when he does that. His other main projectiles, when he jumps in the air, spins his spear, and shoots out 3 projectiles in a pretty straightforward pattern that you can figure out. Go ahead and dodge him, wait for him to land, and then deliver a shot when he lands on the ground. If you wanted to, you could have used Tomahawk Man, Silver Tomahawk, to take him out a little bit quicker. However, the Mega Buster works just as well. For defeating Yamada Man, we get the Yamada Spear, as well as the last of the beat parts. Now, with all the Robot Masters defeated, it's now time to enter the lair of the castle of Mr. X. Just like all the previous Mega Man games, there is multiple levels to the end boss's castle. Now, for these final stages, they always kind of throw all the stuff that you've previously done in the stages, as well as usually add 1 or 2 rooms in each stage that are meant to give you a lot of trouble. Like here, we're going to have to, in order to make it through the stage, we're going to have to climb up multiple ladders, as well as dodge some of these spikes that are on the walls. So we're going to be using the Rush Jet adapter in order to kind of float up to get up there. However, we're going to try to take out some of the enemies before attempting to make it over to these ladders. As you can see, those guys are going to float there trying to stop us, that one being pretty easy. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and break that wall for some power upgrades, but we're just going to go ahead and skip by it. And now for here, you want to take out at least the bottom one, if not both of them, before attempting to go ahead and fly over in order to make it to the ladder. This one is pretty easy to dodge, so you just have to worry about the spikes, and he's on the right side, so you don't have to worry about the robot. And now for this one, you want to take out at least the bottom 2, the one at the very bottom and the one in the middle, and then go ahead and fly underneath the one at the top, to make it to the platform up here. Now we have one last room to go through, and then we're going to have to fall down a pit at the end of here. If you wanted to, you could break those blocks with the power armor, but it's just as easy to fly by with the rust jet adapter. Fall down, and then fall one more time, and now we're going to be entering the first of Mr. X's robot bosses. Now this boss ends up being pretty tricky to go ahead and dodge, and it's a little bit hard to hit. There's two of them that are flying around the stage, and you can deliver full charged up shots to either side of these robots as they're flying around the room. However, they go around in a set pattern, and then all of a sudden when they get to a certain point, they're going to reverse and start going the opposite pattern. Usually hanging out in the right corner is a good place to hide until you see that one coming down from the top. Then you want to jump over it, and then continue on going back to the right corner to